Welcome to Lakelands Trail State Park. We're here at the Lakelands Trail State Park, which is one of Michigan's linear state parks, which were all formerly railroad bed corridors.
This trail runs about 22 miles from Hamburg to Stockbridge, and we're actually in the Pinckney area, which is about the halfway point.
And if you want to know where that is exactly, it's in the southern lower peninsula, kind of about here-ish. And it's centrally located, I think, between Lansing and Detroit, so it kind of gives you a general idea of where we're at.
It's located near the Pinckney Recreation Area, so there's a lot of other things to do in this part of the state as well. Brighton Recreation Area isn't that far away, but this is a nice trail. There's actually two types of surface. We started at the Pinckney Trailhead, which I thought was nice. Nice gravel parking lot, good size, has a vault toilet if you need it. The historic train depot is there. It looks like it's closed, you can't get into it, but it's kind of cool to see it. It's been restored and painted up nicely. And that's the section that's actually a paved trail. And then we're now a little bit further down, maybe a couple miles away from the trailhead, and it's more of the, I don't know what they call it, like a crushed gravel?
Yeah, it's like a crushed limestone slag surface, but it's pretty hard packed. So bicycles, walking, you don't have any problem with it.
And we just came out of a really heavy rainstorm last night. It was raining still a little bit this morning, and it's dry. I mean, it's you can tell it's moist, but it's not like we're splashing mud up or anything. So that's kind of nice. It obviously is draining really well the way they built it. This was, I kind of think, traditional. You kind of hear about rail to trail. 1800s, a railroad got started, came through here. Do you remember where it ran to and from?
Based on the history that I found, it was originally designed to run between Port Huron and Chicago. I'm not sure if it ever actually did all of that, because the history I showed said that it changed hands a few times. That was pretty typical of railroad companies over the years, and it had a few different spurs. But it was one of the Grand Trunk Railroad, I think, was its final or biggest owner.
And that's a pretty common route. The whole Port Huron, Detroit, Chicago run is what they used to do. So that would have been the 1800s. It ran all the way until like about the 1970s was when it was abandoned. And then it took about 20 years or so. And I think this trail actually opened in 1994.
That's correct. And it opened as the Lakelands Trail State Park. I don't exactly know why the Lakelands part, although there is a little village near here named Lakeland, so clearly it has something to do with that. But as you can see from the sign, it's now the Mike Levine Lakelands Trail State Park. Mike is a big supporter of the trail system. He's donated quite a significant amount of money to help restore some of our trails. They're building what's called the Great Lake to Lake Trail, and that's going to run from Lake Michigan to Lake Huron. And so he's been a big supporter of that. So in 2018, they wanted to honor him by renaming the trail for him.
This rail trail is a little different than some of the others we've been on in the state because there is no motorized vehicles out here at any time. So even in the winter with plenty of snow, you still can't have snowmobiles out here. But we've seen people out here hiking, walking their dogs, running, biking, obviously. And you can also do equestrian riding on here, so horseback riding. And that's actually a part of the trail system that runs into the Pinckney Recreation Area if you have a horse. So you can be out here on the Lakelands Trail, and you can come and go from Pinckney on the Bridle Trails.
What I found interesting about the Bridle Trails in Pinckney is it is truly equestrian only. Most of the state parks where we have seen equestrian trails, they've been multi-use, so both for hiking and biking as well. But here it is very strictly no bikes. You probably could walk it, you just have to be careful of the horses, but they truly mean this for equestrians only. And that's really nice because horses can get spooked pretty easily, so this gives them a safe place for the horses and their riders.
And yet they're still allowed to come off of the bridle trails and use the multi-use trail, so it gives them some access to different things. So I think it's a kind of a nice system the way they have it set up. We haven't ridden a lot of the trail, but I really like what we saw. This time of year, it's a little cold out today to be riding and a little bit wet, but with the fall colors.
Yeah, but the colors are gorgeous.
It's really pretty. There's plenty of trees in here where the leaves have turned or are turning, and it's been a really nice kind of peaceful ride in here. I can see where people like to come out here.
I was impressed by the number of people that were out today just simply because the weather isn't great, but there were people walking their dogs, they were out running, just going for a walk, and clearly this is getting a lot of use. Lakelands Trail State Park is about 22 miles between Stockbridge and Hamburg. And there are a few different trailheads along the way where you can stop or park your car and get onto the trailhead. The one here in Pinckney is where we're at, but there's a couple at each end as well, and as I think one more just a little bit west of here. That way you have different access points depending on where you're coming from and whether you want the paved section or the gravel section.
Like I said, it's a really nice trail. I love the idea that the state is starting to build this system, this network of bike trails that you can travel. You're going to be able to go from one end of the state to the other in terms of lake to lake. That would be amazing. And it's been a really nice ride. I think it's going to be a really nice trail to enjoy at different times of the year. You know, it'd be nice if it was a nice hot summer day. I'd love to come back here sometime and enjoy it when the skies are blue.
But also, something we should mention, it is open to cross-country skiing in the winter. So this would be a nice place to come out in the winter too and enjoy that.
Absolutely. Year-round fun on the Lakelands Trail. Consider getting out here and checking it out for yourself. Keep on trekking.
And we'll see you out there.